Yeah, Salaki on that, man. This this part three right here, y'all. So this part three of my video, and Salakia, it got broken down like that, just unexpected calls and whatnot. So the last one, was somewhat important. So I'm gonna just leave it on that note. But continuing on in my lesson, going into the total grid failure, the failure of the grid. Okay, that's coming upon Babylon the Great, aka America. I'm gonna keep reading. Even while you may believe that a significant blackout affecting the US is unlikely to occur, it is always better to be prepared for the worst case scenario than not at all. Here's a few good practices to put in place. All right, and I read basically Amos 5, chapter 5, 18 on down to 21. All right. So I'm gonna get back into the article. It says has a reserve of emergency cash. It said you should, as a general rule, keep $1,000 or more in cash in your house. That's completely going off just for the simple fact we're heading into a cashless society. So that lets you know that this plan is not going to work regardless. All right, even if you track or invest in gold and this and that, the third, they're gonna, have it to the point that they're only gonna take that CBDC system, okay, that MOTB, contract that they're wanting to force and mandate upon the whole earth, the whole world, not only over here in Babylon the Great, but also on the other side of the world as well. This is because you'll want to make sure you have cash on hand to buy stuff while you can if the internet or card preceding machines don't operate after the blackout. All right. This will be a severe socially breakdown very quickly. If there is a widespread blackout, law and order will be completely disregarded at this point, and individuals who are in need of goods and essentials will swarm into stores and loot them. If you're not able to get to a store after a blackout, you need cash to purchase whatsoever you can before the chaos really starts. And it says keep food and water stocked. All right, and all this thing, is basically, void. It's empty, vain words that this individual is trying to prep the people for a catastrophic day, like AKA a blackout. All right, but ultimately, the day of the Lord is going to be the ultimate blackout. All right, where he shut down the power grid and plagued this place as before. It will plague Egypt as before. He's going to plague this place with darkness like he did in ancient Egypt as well. Second Ezra 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition or uprisings among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right, and that's basically, the militia groups are gonna, unify certain other militia groups just to, stand against the tyrannical, the tyranny of this government, basically going against the rule of the NWO. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. That's martial law. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that's what's coming upon America. All right. Lawlessness, anarchy. All right. Total destruction upon everyone and their neighbors, man, because for the lack of bread and for, lack of resources. All right. Lack of water. Okay. These things will occur, and they're already occurring on a low level as of right now. Okay. That's going on in the world as we speak. Salakia. It was just in Second Ezra 16. I know it. Okay. Second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 46. For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and take their children captives, for in captivity and famine shall they get children. And that's going into, the strangers are your martial law troops, are your foreign troops that's going to be on the soils of America. And if you read further down this same passage, all right, the burning wrath of a great multitude that's kindled over you, kindled over the ones, the Lord don't want, the ones the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to execute judgment upon. Those are your martial law military troops, man, that's going to roam on the in the streets of America, Babylon the Great. And they're also going to have the robot dogs. They're going to have, super soldier suits. All right. They're going to have foreign troopers from different parts of the world speaking all different type of languages. All right. That's going to be monitorizing the streets of America. All right. Whether it be your big states, big cities, or little cities, man, the countries. All right. That's how you know the day of the Lord, hey, it's not going to be light, but darkness, man. And it's going to be, like a case scenario after case scenario, man. Destruction after destruction. But if you be of the elect, no evil shall touch thee. Going back into Psalms, the 91st chapter. And also in Job 5 and 19, that you shall laugh at calamities through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right. That we may overcome all the hell that's about to come upon the earth. But yep, that's what's going to happen. And that's one of the little things that got keep food and water stocked. Although it may sound, gotta look this word up. Cliche, Salakia. Cliche, one of the most critical things you can do is get ready for a blackout, is to stockpile on food and water. These is due to two factors. We cannot survive without food and water. It will be quite challenging for you to restock yourself after a blackout occurs. Considering how long you want to be prepared for a crisis and then gather the right amount of food and water. For example, suppose ye have a household of 4 and wish to prepare 6 months worth of food and water for the 4 of you. You should on average put aside 1 gallon of water for 1 gallon of water per person every day for both drinking and washing. For a household of 4, that works out approximately 112 gallons per month. That's 672 gallons if you multiply that by 6 months. Don't forget about your livestock, pets. Hence, it's time to research rainwater catchment. You should make sure you have enough storage room to behold that much water, because it is a lot. The easiest way to keep this much water cleaner is to buy several large water storage tanks and cycle the water as a regular blah, blah, blah. Say non-edible items. These are numerous of other essential supplies that you should store in addition to food and water. And you see it. All this is in vain, man. Making your home more defense worthy. Because ultimately, if you don't have Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you're not going to be protected, okay, at the end of the day. Because according to the scriptures, all right, they're going to invade houses, man. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19 again. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. So all that stockpiling through the spirit, you may be stockpiling for a looter, all right? Or mainly stockpiling for the elect, because according to Isaiah 65 and verse 13, the Lord is going to protect his chosen men from these up and coming destructions. And his household, roughly paraphrasing. This is Isaiah 65 and verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, Allahayim power. Behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart and howl for vexation of spirit. All right. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Allahayim shall slay thee and call his servants by another name. Yasha Allah, man. All right. Coming back into the fold. Okay. But during that time, it's going to be a switcheroo while we're suffering and howling the vexation of spirit. All right. In a state of mourning. Okay. As of right now, in the near future, the tables will turn. Those ones that was once, successful, had some type of status in this world and, basically on top and received their consolation on a worldly sense. Okay, those are the ones that's going to be, starving out and being in worst case scenarios during the time of all hell breaking loose. The Lord is not going to protect them. Okay, like I said in Psalms, the 91st chapter, and also Job 5 and 19, man. All right, that's what it boils down to. The Lord shall be with us and guide us through the hell and tribulation that's about to come. Isaiah 33 and 6. For wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. Strength and salvation and fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, is his treasure, man. All right, and doing the will and the work of the Lord. Okay. Get that in Exodus 10. All right. It says the plague of locusts right here. I'm going to jump down. Darkness over the land. I'm gonna start at 10. Exodus chapter 10 and verse 20. But the Lord Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, his mind, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. All right, because it was more judgments that was supposed to come upon this individual, just for the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to be exalted. All right, for his power and his presence to be known, man. Verse 21, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwelling place. All right, and that's symbolizing the elect on this side, because warn to you that go down to Egypt for help. Isaiah the 31st chapter. All right, Egypt is going to be your shame at the end of the day, because you trust in their system, you trust in their way of life. Okay, you trust in their false narrative and false hope of this place being a place to dwell or a righteous society, man, which is totally not. They say 3 days, man, 3 full days. It was just straight darkness, except light being in the dwelling of the nation of Israel, man, his chosen. But on this side is the elect, and the light that we have is this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, man, of the scriptures, the comforter, the Rakah Kwadash. Verse 24, and Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, go ye serve the Lord. Only let your flocks and your herds be stayed. Let your little ones also go with you. Basically, Pharaoh been so scared and so, frightened. He tried to lighten up. But, hey, that still wasn't the end of that, because at the end of the day, hey, it said again, verse 27, but the Lord Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. All right, until to the point that the Lord overthrew him and all his army men. All right, his chariots of men. They all got overthrown by the power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, when they was cast into the sea, the Red Sea, if I'm not mistaken. That was it on that. It said the last plague in Exodus 11. Then Exodus 12, the Passover lamb, the song of Moses, basically, the deliverance. Yep, the memorial of redemption, all that, man. All that came into play. Exodus of Israel. Yep. Let me get that wisdom of Solomon, and then I'm going to close out. Because this is what's coming to America, man. Strange aberrations and all. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 1. For great are thy judgments, and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unneutered souls. I got to look that word up. Lord, we'll do a video. Unneutered souls have erred. For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they begin shut up in their houses and prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, laid there exiled from the eternal providence. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange aberrations. For neither might the corner that held them kept them from fear, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenance. No power of the fire might give them light, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure the lighten that horrible night. Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. All right, basically all types of, the Lord was plaguing their minds, man. Just having them basically bugging out and seeing all types of demons and angels, all right, and so on and so forth, man. During that veil of forgetfulness, that dark veil of forgetfulness during that time, man, had them in a trance, so to speak. As for the verse 7, as for the illusions of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom were reproved with disgrace. For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at. All right, and that's going into basically their magi's and their wizards and sorcerers. They was terrified with fear, and that's ultimately the fear and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right, at the end of the day, for though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that passed by, and hissings of serpents. Basically, their fears are coming to life, man. All right. They died for fear, denying that they saw the air, which could of no side be avoided. For wickedness, commanded by her own witness, is very tumultuous, and being pressed with conscience, always forecasteth grievous things. The fear is nothing else but a betrayal of the source, the securers which reason offensive, and the expectation from within, being less counteth the ignorance more than the cause which bringeth the torment. By they sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of inevitable hell, were partly vexed with monstrous aberrations or monstrous ghosts, all right, spooky things in a nutshell, and partly fainted, their heart failing them, for a sudden fear and not looked for came upon them. I might as well finish the whole thing out, because these is all the things that they witnessed, them being under that darkness, man. Verse 17, for whether he were husbandman or shepherd or a laborer in the field, he was overtaken and endureth that necessary, which could not be avoided, for they were all bound with one chain of darkness. Whether it were a whistling wind or a mellifluous noise of birds among the spreading branches, or a pleasing fall of water running violently, or a terrible sound of stones cast down, or a running that could not be seen of skipping beasts, or a roaring voice of most savage wild beasts, or a rebounding echo from the hollow mountains. These things made them to swoon for fear, for the whole world shineth with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. Only them only were spread in heavy night an image of that darkness which should afterward receive them, but yet were they unto themselves more grievous than the darkness. All right. And gross darkness to people, man. And these people are going to get caught off guard with an ultimate total blackout. All right. And all it is, in a nutshell, it's all planned via through the elites, via through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that the prophecies may be fulfilled again. All right. That these things and the plagues of Egypt, as before, must come upon the new Egypt. All right. To execute the judgments and the prophecies of the scriptures, man. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to close out by saying Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of GMS that teach us this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Peace, love, and blessing to the elect out there scattered abroad. Till next time, I say Shalom, Shalom.